Let's do a video where I just respond to comments I receive on this channel. Alright, let's lead off with this first one here I got from Leo Sanchez. It says, glad to see you're making videos more often. Love your content. Haven't seen you in a long time. First off, Leo Sanchez. He and I go way back. We ran into one another. I think we first met doing the Hostler gig together down at Sand 3. We ran into one another. Another kind of like chance encounter was DSD4. I know we ran into one another there. And then of all places, I was up in San Bernardino. He was up in San Bernardino. Ran into him. Totally great guy. Always love seeing him. One thing I'll say about him is he is actually, a lot of guys talk about like doing the work of, trying to stay in shape, go to the gym, this kind of stuff, which is hard with the whole trucker lifestyle and everything. He is one actually doing the work. I mean, you can tell, just by his physique, how he carries himself. He's putting the time in at the gym, and that's coming from somebody who is envious of that, because I know how much discipline that takes. I know ever since I joined this industry, I've seen nothing but the numbers on the scale when I stand on it. I've seen nothing but those numbers increase slowly over time. So definitely envious of that. I'm super proud of him for putting in the work and doing that stuff. He's in really good shape, considering that he does the same thing I do for work. I know the discipline involved there. So nothing but respect going towards him from me on that. As far as the not making content in a long time, kind of why I wanted to lead off with this one. Lost my dad in December, and I don't want to say I was getting over that, because there's really no getting over that. It's just kind of like adjusting to a new normal. But shortly after we lost him, had another family member have a stroke. This was like mid-December, and I kind of realized after losing my dad, it was one of those things where it's like, there's a small circle of people on this earth that I would do anything for, and it just so happens this person who had a stroke is in that circle of people I would do anything for. And so basically, they were in the hospital for a couple weeks, came home, kind of required round-the-clock care. There's been a lot of appointments of physical therapy, occupational therapy, speech therapy, just all this physical medicine, urology, just all this stuff. And so basically what it's turned into is, rather than going out and having these big days in the truck, I have been this person's kind of, I don't want to take full credit, because there's been other members of the family who have stepped in and done this, but I've been this person's kind of caretaker during the day. So rather than going out and telling you about these, hey, look at $4, $5, $6 a mile loads. Look at this huge day I put together. My days have been filled with nothing but doctor's appointments. And basically, like I said, like after losing my dad, it sucks that I had to lose my dad to realize this, but it kind of made me realize that, like, with these people who I care about so much, when it does come their time to pass, I want to leave nothing on the field. I don't want it to be like, man, should I have taken him to that one other appointment? Could I have gone and done this thing, done this with him? Should I have done this? Should I have done that? You're always going to second guess it, and it does no good to beat yourself up over stuff like that. That's not what I'm doing with my dad. But I'm just trying to do everything I can for this person. What that's translated to is my video output has been practically next to nothing since the beginning of this year. To be honest, 2025, I've cranked that truck up and gone out and earned money in that truck 4 times. You might be questioning, like, how are you still in business? How's what's going on? I don't live an extravagant lifestyle. When I go out and I have these big weeks where I show you, like, hey, I made $6,000, $8,000, only spent $1,000 in fuel. It's not like I go out and blow $5,000. I don't have a secret, I don't have a gambling habit. I don't go to strip clubs. I don't go to, I don't have, drugs, strippers, and gambling. Those 3, I you can check the box no on all of those for me. I drive an old-ass car. I've got an old CRV. I think it's a 2008, maybe 2011. I think it's got 180,000 miles on it. I have been preparing for this time that I'm going through right now for the last 3 years. When I jumped into this trucking thing, first couple of days of finding out like what an owner-operator was, and hearing guys talk about making $8,000, $10,000, $12,000 a week, I spent about 2 days in that space. Like, wow, maybe I'm the putz for going to pharmacy school. But then after about 2 days of that, I spent about a month of just YouTubing videos of why do trucking companies fail, and I spent a lot more time there than I did spending on the good thing. And basically what it came down to is people running into situations, rates going down, stuff like come up in my family came up with them, and they didn't have money set aside to cover that. Now, I don't foresee this going on for too much longer. The person I've been helping out, I've seen them transition from bedbound to wheelchair to walker to 2 days ago they got a cane. So they're moving in the right direction. But as far as could I stress the importance of having some emergency funds set aside for when something like this does come up? I couldn't stress that enough. And definitely, if you're thinking of starting a trucking business, definitely spend some time on YouTube of why do trucking companies fail. I definitely would spend more time there than looking at the good stuff, because the good stuff, anybody can handle the good stuff, but the bad stuff is really where the test is. But just wanted to follow up with Leo Sanchez. Always good to run into you. Always good to hear from you on the channel, and I appreciate you leaving me this comment. Next comment came from Jesus Cuevas. Good evening, sir. I just became an owner-operator. Does Amazon accept new authorities, and what are the requirements? Thanks in advance. Unfortunately, the quick answer to your question is no, they don't take you when you're new. Currently, they require that authority to be 180 days old. I'll have a link come up on the screen. I think it's like if you go to, I don't want to tell you the wrong thing, I'll have the link come up on the screen, but basically you go to their website, you scroll down to the bottom of their website, and there's a section. It's like, what are the requirements, or what does Amazon require to haul loads for Amazon, something to that effect. And that's where you want to be getting your information from. I could make a video today telling you what those requirements are, but guess what? Amazon may change those requirements tonight. That's going to be updated on their website as soon as possible, whereas the video that I could potentially be making today and listing all their requirements, suddenly tomorrow is outdated. So the best place to be getting your information on what Amazon requires is directly through them, through their website. Next comment I got on here, and I love this one. This was, I have an IRP account in California. My agent was doing all the jobs for me, but now I want to do it on myself. What should I do? Thank you for your video. This came from my how to get apportioned plates in California. First off, I love where your head's at as far as, trying to figure out all this stuff on your own. It is, once you have an established IRP account, it's very easy to maintain it. I don't know what your agent or what agents out there are charging to do this. I know when I looked into it, when this was, 2022, and I didn't know any of this stuff, they were looking for like $2,000-$3,000 to set up an IRP account for you. And I'm one of those people where I'm notoriously stubborn, I guess you could say. I insist on learning things myself, even if I get it wrong. And I was dead set on doing all this thing. I'll tell you the one that actually, the one that gave me the confidence to be able to try to do this stuff on my own was actually the UCR. I had when I first started this thing, one of the first things I got was the UCR. And I had companies reaching out to me saying oh, we'll get your UCR done for $150. I think that's what it was. It might have been $200, but let's just say $150 to keep it simple. And it's like, oh, okay, well that seems like a fair deal, $150. Well, then I started looking into it on my own, got onto YouTube of how to do a UCR, and all this stuff. And I've since made a video on how to do a UCR. And anyway, long story short, what they were charging me $150 for is an absolute noob. And keep in mind, I was a noob when I did this, knew nothing about trucking. It took me 2 minutes and cost me, I want to say $31 and change. And then I was floored. It's like, you're charging $150 for something that literally takes somebody who didn't know what they were doing 2 minutes of their time. You're out of your mind. And so then that kind of got me into the mindset of, if they're going to rip you off on these little things, what are they going to rip you off on the big things for? And that really kind of got me into the mindset of, look, I have a trucking business. I'm not claiming to be the best at it. I know I'm not the worst. I know I'm somewhere in the middle there, but I have this trucking business, and I have done everything, every step on my own. The tricky thing with the IRP thing is you then have to do your quarterly IFTA returns. I've made a video on that. As far as like how to do it step by step. I use Motive as my ELD provider, but really like any ELD provider is going to provide you the information, and the only trick is just to remember to do it every quarter and do it. But as far as the UCR, getting the apportion plates, and doing your quarterly filings, I have made videos on all three of those. I'll put links to all of those in this video. But I like where your head's at. I like hearing other people say like, wait a minute, I'm paying for this service. What am I actually paying for? And maybe I'll give this a shot on my own. What's the worst that could happen? You mess up. If you mess up, guess what? They're going to send you a letter saying you messed these things up. You correct them, and guess what? Now you've done it on your own. Not paid a service, anything. All right, and last comment I'm going to respond to in this video came from Maha PR7KR. It's another helpful video. The DOT and insurance and also the truck are under my brother's name, but I am the driver. Does Amazon accept Relay this way? What I suspect you'll have to do is you're going to have your brother set up whoever the insurance is under is going to have to be the main account holder on the account. So if all those are in your brother's name, your brother's going to have to be the one who's going to have to sign up for the Amazon account. Now, once he's signed up and he's accepted, he can assign you a driver, and there's different privileges in there. Like, I don't really deal with this since I don't hire other drivers, but I know that like if I were to hire another driver, there's different privileges I can give that driver. I can say like, I only want them to see loads to book, or I don't want them to be able to book loads. I want them to only be able to accept loads I assign them. And your brother can choose to give you full admin privileges, which is basically where like you're seeing the loads, you have the ability to book them, you see what the load's going for, and then you can see like what kind of problems come up with it. Like, were you on time? Did they change the rate? Did they have you, did they tell you to drop this load off at point A and then ask you to drive to point B instead? What rate are they paying for that mileage difference from A to B and everything like that? So if you're going to be the one running the account and assuming your brother's comfortable with you having full admin privileges, that's what you're going to want your brother to do, is to have him, who the insurance and who everything's set up for, have him sign up for the Amazon account, but then assign you as an admin on the account, and you'll be able to do everything that I can do on my account. You'll just be doing it for yourself. So I hope that helps. I always love getting comments from you guys. I never want you guys to think that like I'm too cool to answer somebody's questions. I've been inundated with so many questions and comments that I've always prided myself on being able to respond to everybody. I've never left somebody unanswered on my channel, and for probably the last month I've left a lot of people unanswered, and that hasn't been intentional. I don't think I'm too cool for you guys. I'm here for you, making these videos for you. The last thing I'd want you to think is I'm too cool, and that just hasn't been the case. It's just been a matter of sitting down, adjusting to this kind of new normal of less time in the truck, more time at doctor's appointments, and just trying to figure out how to still create content, still create trucking content, with not really doing as much trucking. And so I figured these answering comments was just a good way to kind of get back into the swing of things. So as always, appreciate you for watching. Hope this video serves you well. Take care.